Can you do that, Ralph? Don't touch anything.
Yeah.
No, don't touch any cameras.
He might be able to not touch any cameras because
You already touched that one.
I know, but he might be able to because there's more room. And I was like, if I feel like it one time, I'm gonna put him on a camera just like this, and it's like he's sleeping or something. We just switch down.
It's our test audience. He's not really paying attention, so
Okay,
if he's asleep, bad topic.
We're good. And then wherever I put that mouse, but I'm not gonna find that right now. And we're just gonna
The mouse?
Yeah. No, we'll just do it.
You got your clicker? You got your thing for switching it over there?
Yeah, and then I'll just use. Can you hear us?
I don't
Are we
know.
here?
I didn't
Yeah,
check.
we're here.
Hello?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
What's up, dude?
How much? Are we going?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just like.
Yeah, that's fair. To episode, what is this, 36?
36? Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. This is it.
We're having a bent stick art teacher's office. This is a
The dank IPA.
Did you know cannabis and hops are cousins?
Brewed with
obviously
terpenes.
Um,
I don't know where it's from. I don't know what it's about, but it's okay.
We're out here. How does it feel? Day one, in another liberal term.
Well, first off, let's say happy anniversary. So
Yeah.
this is it. This is our 1 year episode. So it's kind of a big deal for us right now to say that, hey, we've been doing this for 365 and we're still going. So
And honestly, it doesn't feel like too long ago.
No,
that we were
it
like,
doesn't.
yo, are we gonna do this?
Yeah.
Like,
where we had that first date conversation. So that was.
And now we're, again, there's a lot to learn.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that we need to
work on and
tweak
absolutely.
But I think we've definitely grown a lot, and we're definitely opening ourselves up to a lot of opportunities.
So first off, I want to say thank you to all of you guys out there for sticking with us despite all of our...
All 2,300 on YouTube?
Despite all of our, I don't know...
janky setups?
Yeah, working through all this and learning what we're learning about doing podcasts. So thank you very much for staying with us. We appreciate you guys the most, obviously.
Yeah.
So thank you. And thank you, Ryan, for being a great partner to have during this venture. It's been, you've made things easy, you've made things difficult, but at the same time, this is both something that we're very passionate about, and I'm happy that we're where we're at. So
yeah, I agree, man. I was thinking before you got here, I was like, when you look at stages and you look at like evolution and stuff, you're like, sometimes you just hit little different notches where you're like, oh, I know where like that personality trait, like I'm finally realizing where I needed adjusting.
Yeah.
And it's like, when your parents tell you something and then you're like, no. And you know what I mean? And then it happens and you're like, yeah. It's the same thing where I look at like my personal life or I look at my professional life or whatever it is, where people tell you something, you're like, it is like, I don't care, whatever. Right. And then you might not necessarily change on the care part, but in terms of going like, oh, I'm starting to understand it. You know what I mean? Like professionally and like personally, okay. I'm starting to like understand different dynamics and be like a little bit more like mature.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
Somewhat. All right. Well.
And go ahead.
No, go on.
Like, and it's ironic that just happened because like my goal is giving people more space.
Okay.
Instead of myself, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
I'm really working on holding back.
All right. I see what you're saying.
And, like, staying calculated.
Okay.
And being like, all right, I could just, like, try to finish their sentence or blurt something out or try to change the topic. But maybe there's more, like, I can learn and get out of it, and there's more things I can do, right? So I think doing all the interviews, Solo Spotlight,
yep.
as well, I think the big one that's coming out this Friday with Nimir. I don't know. We were probably talking about it.
We talked about it a while ago, and then I saw the clip today. So yeah, that's awesome.
And like honestly, when we finished that, he left, and I was like, yeah, I just got like 2 hours free therapy. Like that was how, because when you talk to people that have that much education, like I feel like that's a type of lifestyle, and like you don't really, you know what I mean? Like that's just the way you talk now, or like you're
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah. Okay.
So, and I feel like that was one of those episodes where I was very, I don't want to say like naive, because I was really excited for it. Like I messaged him the day before, and we didn't talk for like a week or two. We scheduled it like 3 weeks in advance.
Okay.
So usually with some guests, you're like, oh, if it's that far apart, they're gonna get cold feet.
Yeah, so you kind of like touch
and then
base.
They're gonna so the day before, 2 days before, I touch base and go, hey, just like following up about our interview, just making sure we're good for this date at this time. You have everything you need. Right? So, what the fuck was I saying?
How talking with somebody like that with that much education.
So yes. So I follow up with him. I assume he's gonna cancel.
Right.
And then like that evening, he's like, "Yep, we're good to go."
Okay.
So I'm like, "Fuck."
So now you're getting nervous.
Because now I'm panicking, going like, "Oh man, like I did it up and I felt good."
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of like, "Shit, are these gonna be right? Do I actually know what I'm talking about?"
Yep.
And like I wrote up some like stats, and like then we sat down and we had a really intelligent conversation where I felt I was asking enough questions that were like grounded in like a general knowledge,
right.
Where it was like, I'm not trying to like get this guy just to speak the Da Vinci Code, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then be like, all right, cool. And everybody's like, nobody knows what that means.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And in general, I was super interested because a lot of the things we talked about were like based out of our province, right? Like we talked about like Edmonton specifically, about like
because where is this guy based out of?
In Edmonton.
In Edmonton.
He has a practice. I'm not sure if he calls a practice, maybe a clinic, for like personal and like professional coaching.
Okay.
So he does like mental well-being coaching. But some of the things we talk about is like happiness is a choice, right? Like it's everybody's way to like interpret situations. So like it's up to you to decide how you're going to like interpret something. And like the person that has the power is the person that you blame. So it's like by making it someone else's fault, you're like allowing that person to control your reaction. But like you have a choice just to understand like the nature of things,
right?
And understand that like I'm not patient zero. Like it's not about me, right? So then people get upset and they just don't understand of like the same way you have goals and ambitions, that guy has goals and ambitions, and that guy has worries and fears and thoughts. And so maybe he didn't ignore you, or maybe he made a mistake, but maybe he's an idiot. And like you just have to kind of accept he didn't say that about being an idiot.
Well,
but
yeah, I get what you mean though. Yeah,
right? Yeah. Where it's like it's your choice to be like, all right, man, like I'm like at some point you gotta have different reactions, but it's kind of like in terms of taking things home with you, and like having this like unhealthy coping mechanisms and stuff like that, where it kind of one thing leads to the next, right? And he kind of also talks about like what's reality and like what's like perspective, like what are you thinking and what's actually happening. Like you have to stay grounded in your thoughts. right?
Right.
So it was a lot to take in, but I felt like it really, like, it translated for me, and it kind of, I left there and I was like, man, and I thought too, like, this was some good general knowledge that someone else could take.
Right. So you feel that the things that were discussed in that conversation are going to be things that can be beneficial to not just you, but to the viewers, the watchers.
Oh, for sure, man.
Okay.
And like, we talked about his professional background
right.
and stuff, right? So, like, it was good, man. And every conversation has its own, like, unique and challenging, like, aspects to it, right? So
this is true, but I think that if you can take something away from, you know, a conversation that somebody else is having, if there's one little thing that you can hold on to or aspire to, or you're going to use that, or you're going to put that in your pocket, I think that that is ideally a beneficial conversation, something that is, it's almost like a self-growth in a way. Like, even though, like, let's say, for example, like, even though I wasn't there for this conversation, but if I'm going to watch that episode, I really want that there's going to be something that I can take away and, you know, try to help in my own life and interpret that. And I think that that's phenomenal. I know that's what you're getting at. And I think that that's a great conversation and a great thing that you just experienced, because it's not only beneficial for you, but now you're gonna be able to pass that on to other people as well, through no way of doing anything specific, but by just having a conversation.
Yeah. And on top of that, like, off camera, he was like, even like, we had a discussion beforehand where he kind of just explained to me the difference between, like, therapy and counseling, and how, like, one is like diagnosis, prescriptions, like, stuff like that, where counseling is more, we give you the tools. Right. He said it's so. He said we have to make sure that we make a distinct thing. Like, I'm a counselor, not a therapist. Okay. Because, like, one is like a medical term, and where he carries, like, a holistic approach, it's like, that's where he just, it's like, it's not necessarily like, they don't run diagnosis, right? So it's more of like giving you the tools and, like, asking you questions to figure your own things out, right? But kind of like giving you the feedback. And he said something interesting about, like, being an accountability partner. And I kind of came at him right away, because I was like, accountability partner, like, what does that mean? Because what I was trying to ask of, like, oh, accountability partner, when I heard that, I was like, people in the movies, when a guy's recovering and whatever, and he's there with them 24/7. And it's like, well, how many fucking clients can you have that you're playing Tom and Dave with? You know what I mean? Like, and in, like, the proverbial storyline where it's like, this person's always there and they're knocking at their door, like, whatever it is, right?
Right.
So the way I challenged him was like, well, an accountability partner, like, that must take a toll at you, because, like, when I think of it, I think of, like, well, if you were my accountability partner, I'm crashing out at, like, 3 a.m, I'm going to call you. And he's like, it's not the same thing. That's more of, like, a dependency partner. He's like, that's not the same thing. I'm not open to, like, he's like, I work normal hours. Like, I don't, this isn't like an on-the-call crisis line. Right? Yeah. So he's like, we also have to make that distinction. Okay. Because some questions, makes sense, right? Because some questions I also asked, and I felt like my line of questioning was just on the line of, like, you're taking it too far, but you're kind of asking not enough. But I asked him this. I said, when a client comes to you, a prospective client, and he comes to you in, like, crisis, what do you do? And he's like, I don't deal with people in crisis. He's like, I refer them to, like, other
people. Yeah, okay.
And then I said, based on, like, the breakdown of our healthcare system, do you ever see that, like, you have this, like, ethical issue that like they're gonna go and they're not gonna get the help they need because they have to wait 16 hours and emerge, and then they like jump off the parkade. And he was like, fair. He was like, but it's like a perspective that just I don't choose to have, right? So and he said like that's where they would get the best help. So he was like, I can't start doing what I'm doing until they have like a baseline. He's like, there's no point. Like,
and
I was like, fair enough.
I hear a lot of nurses and therapists say that it's like they need to know what the baseline is before you can start to branch out as to how you're going to help them or what avenues you're going to take. So you need to see that. So I get all that, and I understand where he's coming from as well. It's like, doing the counseling thing, I can't imagine that can be super easy.
Well, and I asked him too, and this is where
it's gotta be heavy.
This is where I got the wisdom from him, because it's funny that you say that, because what I asked him is, I said, take the analogy of sports. When I go to play a game, I might have like a pregame ritual where like I didn't say this on the episode, but I said, like, I'll say it here, like I shit before the game, or like I take 7 showers or whatever, right? Yep. I said, do you have to like work yourself up to prepare yourself for a client? Because like,
that's a good question.
Do you need like 5 minutes, like a couple splashes on the face? And all he said was, no, why would I do that? He's like, the last 20 years prepared me for that. If I wasn't ready, he's like, if I wasn't prepared and done the research and figured out the things that I think are going to be beneficial,
right.
He's like 5-10 minutes isn't going to matter.
See, but I think in that case, for me, I get what I understand exactly what you're saying, but I think if that was me, it'd depend on, and I hate to say that, but it'd depend on the person. Like if it's somebody you've worked with a few times, you know what I mean, and it's a regular session. I think that sometimes when you're dealing with this person, it's like how intense their situations are, how intense their life is, or how intense their emotions are when you're dealing with certain things. Sometimes you just gotta be like, I need a minute to prep for this because this is gonna be mentally exhausting. It's gonna be mentally draining, emotionally, whatever, And I think that depending on the person, you might feel that way. I don't know.
I think you're right. 100%. I think it would depend on that.
I don't want to be right in this situation. I mean, I'm just saying I think that depending.
Yeah, you might have a certain person where you're like, oof. Like, and maybe it's like that memory dump where like you have to like upload those, you know what I mean? Of like, oh, I'm having this client, I have to remember like all the things we were talking about.
Or
and
that,
You know what I mean? Like what he's currently doing or she's doing. But one of the questions that I asked him was like, oh yeah, I already... but it was honestly like refreshing because you don't talk to a lot of people that are like satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And like the way he talked and like the way he was off camera, where he was like, here's my number, like you have me on like Facebook, and he got a hold of me.
Okay, nice.
So this was like destiny.
Yeah.
Right?
I remember you were talking about this for a while.
Right.
Before, yeah.
Where I was like, oh, who is this guy? Like, what is he going to try to do? Like, plug his, like, whatever. Right? And then he was leaving. He was like, anytime, man. He's like, we got, like, massage therapists and, like, clinical psychiatrists, like, psychologists and all this stuff at the clinic. If, like, at any time, if you want to come down, shoot me a message. Like, coffee's on me. And you're like,
nice.
you know what? Like, let alone being nice, but the fact that you would extend an olive branch for like a future relationship was the big thing. And he was like, like I might have some like professionals in my field that might be interested in also coming on for an interview, right?
Cool. Okay.
And so it was refreshing to see a person like not be cutthroat. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, just be a little bit...
Just very genuine.
Yeah. And, like, ironically, very like liberal. If that makes sense.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I think even if I was an asshole, he still probably would have been like, well, if you need anything, like, shoot me a message. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's also kind of like the behavior that he's used to sometimes, maybe.
But then it was something where, like, I took, and I was like, as cheesy as it is, I was like, that is, like, a very professional and appropriate behavior, and it was, like, toxic for someone else. Right? As myself. Yeah. And I was like, you got to learn from the best, man. Like, this guy got 20 years of social work experience, master's degree, certifications out the wazoo. It's like, yo, if there's anybody I'm going to trust, it's going to be this
his
guy,
word. Yeah,
right?
That's fair.
So, all in all, I'm really excited for I even put it on the Instagram post where I said this was by far one of the best, if not the best episode I've ever recorded.
Nice.
Ever.
Cool. Kidding.
I debated that of whether or not it was because I think with the Conversationalist, the one that we have with Dennis,
it's probably one of the better ones.
I said was probably one of the better ones.
Yeah.
And then probably one of our recent ones. But
yeah, absolutely.
The train keeps rolling, man, and
it's just gonna keep getting better and better and more fun and more exciting. So stay tuned, everybody. That's what's coming on.
One question I have to ask with that, kind of changing gears or staying on the same, changing gears, going into like a little off ramp, till we go to another switch gear. What are for the next year? What would you say are some goals that you have? And I mean for like, because I have my own goals where I say I'll give you mine. You ready?
You can give me, just give me one. Or as many as you want. Let's do this.
Okay. Grow audience and exposure.
Okay.
Increase audience engagement.
Okay.
And explore monetization opportunities.
You're talking about with the podcast in general?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Those are my 3 goals for the next year of the podcast for me. Of like, how can we make it more engaging? How can we like reach out to more people to talk about different content, be more structured, have segments, follow trending things, have different guests on, whatever that is, and how can we find ways to make money?
Sure. And I think those are all great. Absolutely.
But I want you to give me your own, and it doesn't have to be 3. It can be 1. It can be half.
Well, obviously the audience and the engagement and everything like that obviously is something that I agree with, and growing in that aspect. So I think that I agree with that one. If I had to say something else, I would like to do something where we're live.
Yeah.
I'd like to actually do something like that, and I think that it might be a fun. I'd like to, venture into that, whether it's. Sorry, people. We're getting some feedback there.
Yeah. That is a.
So a live segment, something in public, something we're trying that's new, and I think that would be fun. And whether or not it's fan interaction in that way in a live environment, I think would be cool. But I think those are like the big 2 for me right now. Is just
now. This is so. I think we talked about this where we were like, "Yo, we want to do like a live," because there's a difference between going live and doing
being
like
somewhere live.
No, and then like selling a live show. So like
okay. Well, when I say like a live show, yes, I mean.
So like,
but when I say out in public, like
we bring Bryce Kenneth on. He's like the DJ. We pay him $50, whatever it is. Hey, you're gonna be
more than 50,
right. Whatever it is, we get the friends and family discount,
which is not $50.
Which is whatever is closest to free.
It's not $50, but yeah.
$50 and your drinks for free.
Yeah.
But like we reach out to like the backyard. Be like, yo, this summer,
Yes,
we
something
want to
like
do
that.
like something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's a smaller audience size.
Yeah.
We're not like over. We have the workplace where we have exposure where it's like, well, even with the workplace we have, I can almost guarantee you off the top with who we know, 20 to 30 tickets minimum.
You're talking about us just doing a live show just like that, just this.
Just selling it and who we know off already doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So people are already excited that we're doing the podcast.
Yes.
If we said we're going to record episode blank, blank, blank.
100.
Yeah. XXX. Hopefully that would be the goal. But the thing is, we would have to have some serious workup.
Let's do this. Okay, we're at episode 36 right now.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we have 74 episodes.
People, no. Let's not do 74. Let's do 14. That'd be 50.
So you want to do a live one, episode 50?
We don't have to do a live one, but we could be. Let's get out of the studio.
Yeah. Sure.
Let's get out of the studio.
Episode 50.
So episode 50. We got 14 episodes to
Yep.
go. I'm gonna give it 10 episodes.
And then we start talking about it?
No, I mean putting this out there right now to the fans, to the people who are watching, the audience. Give us a suggestion. Where would you like to see us do this? Where
and then
would
we'll
you like
start
to
promoting it.
and we'll
after
start
10.
going with it. We'll
Yeah.
start putting it in motion, and by after like 10 episodes from now, so we're looking at episode 46.
Yeah.
We will have an idea, and then we'll be letting everybody know about a month in advance before we do that.
Yeah.
So, but I put it out to you guys. Like, just throw us some feedback. See whatever you want. You want us to come to your backyard? We could do it there. We have a barbecue.
Your
We could
spare
shoot
bedroom?
the shit. Your spare bedroom? I don't know. Options are endless.
Yeah. And the idea is we could reach out to some like local businesses and be like, listen, hey, we want to like, hey, maybe you can sponsor us. Rent, like, we can get the patio.
Yeah.
Set up the patio.
Just do, it's just the summer months are coming. We just want to be outside, basically.
It would
is what I'm
legit
saying.
be the same thing, but we'd all just be sitting in like a cabana.
Yeah. Well, we'd have to, yes, but we'll figure that part out eventually. Maybe we
like
could
a
do
brew house patio.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Brew house patio.
But
Yo, shout out brew house. Hit us up.
This is something for us to talk about in the weeks to come and try to figure out. But
Tons of time.
But
That's
with
exciting.
that being said, it's a big day. I'm assuming most of our viewers are Canadians, so
yeah,
if you don't know this,
if not U.S., but there's a lot of viewers on like our Instagram, Vietnamese, Indian, Taiwanese.
we don't discriminate.
Indonesian.
But for those of you who aren't in Canada, if you are, that's fantastic, and that's. But if you're not, yesterday was a huge day.
What do you think
the election?
What do you think them announcing it that early? Like announcing the
win.
win.
You gotta remember one thing: we're 2 hours behind.
Right.
So.
But they were apparently they still called it.
They called it around like 8 o'clock. Well, the polls closed here at 7:30.
The thing is, this
so
is my problem.
let's keep that in mind.
My problem is I just don't know enough.
Yeah, me.
You know
I'm
what
not
I
the
mean?
most
Like-
educated person. I'll be the first one to say politics is not my strong suit. Thank you, Miss McDonald, to my high school teacher who taught me politics. You taught me some stuff, but it's been years, so wasn't my best subject.
There's too much, and it's too complicated. There's too many. If you look at a flow chart, it's like, so what is this, a staircase, man? I ain't trying to figure all this out. And I'm not that proper. Like, that's my problem, is like grammar was never my thing. Math, never my thing.
Yeah, mine either. Yeah. Or else I'd be doing something probably way cooler than.
And if
what
I
do
showed
right
up
now.
to drama class, I would have passed it, but I did fail that too. But I would have killed it.
Dude.
But that would have been different.
Yeah,
Gym
that's fair.
class,
Yeah, that's fair.
whatever they give you, pass.
But the election was yesterday, and it a lot of people here in Alberta are not pleased, clearly. I mean, it's a very... The population here, I find, it's obviously very conservative. And not that there's anything wrong with that. But they're extremely tired of the Liberal government that's been going on. And they got it for another 4 years, so I don't know how a lot of people are going to handle it. It's going to be a wait-and-see kind of thing. And hopefully Carney will, he'll appease these people and appease the rest of the country. So
the thing that scares me
yes.
is when people say, I voted and it didn't even matter. And then you're like, man, but if you don't vote and it is abstained, it's almost just as bad. If you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's still kind of a vote to any opposition by not voting. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Especially if you're one, and this is one for the... Did I put my can... This is one for you. If you're going to complain... You better be voting. If you're going to complain...
Yeah, this is true.
You better be voting.
Because you can't complain if you didn't vote.
Because this is the problem. It's like, well, it doesn't matter. It's like, well, maybe it would have if you fucking voted.
But then people are saying it's like a lot...
Well, people are saying it's a scam.
But look at a lot of people who did vote. There was somebody right away. I'm not going to name names. There was a guy at work, and right away he's like, fucking rigged, man. I'm like, how is it rigged?
But this is the thing, too. So I forget what I watched. But it was like they were rooting for the teams, whatever. It was good game. This is such a great fight it was.
Yeah.
And then the person that they didn't want to win won. And they're like, the reffing, it was shit, blah, 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 blah. You're like, bro, you weren't saying that the whole match.
Yeah.
So now, the reffing shit?
Yes.
They're like, terrible reffing. There's no way it was 30-27. You're like, well...
This is what it is.
Such is life,
the result.
Dude.
But everyone's woe is me, man. Woe is me. That's what it is.
And this is the funniest part, though, is like, ask me 6 months ago, I probably would have been like that.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck the refs.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of perspective where I say,
yes, okay,
and it's
I
not,
can get behind
and
that.
it's not like a patronizing thing where it's like, yo, I'm just as fucking dumb as the dumbest person. Like, I'm an idiot.
Right.
Like, but there's times I can be smart. Sometimes, mainly, I'm stupid because I want to be, and it's fun and it's goofy. But sometimes, I got to turn on the jets.
Yep.
It's like, yo, where are you taking this guy? Hey, I need to know. No, I'm not gonna let you pass until you tell me. And you know what I mean? Like, where sometimes I could be like, yo, I don't care. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I could be sitting on a chair right now, chilling.
And yeah, I completely understand what you mean, and I get that, but it's just, I don't know, like it's a tough time for a lot of people. A lot of people don't know what to say or do or how they're gonna react right now. And
do you think it's more trending in like a relationship thing? Because I just talked to someone I work with, and he was just telling me that like when he told his woman that he was voting conservative, she was like, so you're for abortion, blah 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 blah, and it's like, relax. So, and at the same time, this is my argument to him. Is it not? Are you not an individual citizen? Is it not personal perspective?
Yes.
So if people say, well, you only did it because it's this.
Okay.
You're right. That's why.
I get what you mean, and I think in relationships, should this be discussed? Well, is everything else discussed in a relationship?
My girlfriend was worried because my mom is like progressive conservative, I think. Sorry, Mom, if you're liberal. I'm assuming you're progressive conservative, because that's what they have in Nova Scotia. It's not like fully conservative.
Yes.
But my Emily, she was worried because her parents are like conservative.
Okay.
So she was like worried that my mom was just gonna say like more rehabs, like, and her parents were gonna trip the fuck out. Right. So thankfully, it went great. It went off with a hitch.
Okay.
Food was banger. Mom, Heather, you did a great job. Everybody did a great job. But yeah, I feel like it's more touchy, and I feel like you could hide, you could tuck that away from people, because I didn't vote till I was in my first year of Nova Scotia Corrections. So I was 22.
Okay.
So that's the first time
That was the first time you voted.
No, sorry. I was 20. I was 19 or 20. I lived in an apartment and I voted for Trudeau. I'm sorry, because he was legalizing weed.
Okay.
So that's what I did.
All right, that's fair.
And like looking back, it's like, I knew nothing.
Right.
All I knew was, I love smoking dope, and I'm gonna vote for the dude
who's gonna
that allows me to buy dope
yes.
from legalized stores.
That's the thing. They try to they appease to the people by their platform and saying, this is what I'm gonna fight for, this is what I believe in, and hopefully one or two things as a voter sticks out with you, and you're like,
but how crazy!
I got this. I like that.
That it was legalized weed, and now it's
that
you're gonna be able to afford to live.
But that doesn't surprise me when you're.
Hey,
no
I'm
offense.
trying to legalize weed,
yes.
and now this guy's like, I'm trying to make sure you're not homeless.
But you understand how that statement, that platform got you to vote.
Yeah.
Because
you leverage.
He appeased
to all of these
the demographic of the 18 and up. It's like, I like weed.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said.
Exactly.
So his platform and how he was running
a university student,
and he got you.
Yeah.
And
that
you
was
voted
the
for
target demographic.
And that was it. So mission accomplished.
Yeah, good marketing. Unfortunately.
It is what it is.
But when you look back, it's like, hindsight is 20/20. Yeah. Suck my ass. I don't know. I can't turn around and not vote for him now. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. If I did, I probably still would have voted for the fucking dude that's gonna legalize pot. So suck my nuts if anybody's listening.
And that's, you know what? But I mean,
that's
what it is.
I turned conservative, not because I moved to Alberta, because I think the platform is just something.
It speaks more to you.
That it's like, I think they're all some part full of shit.
Absolutely, they're politicians.
So it's like,
politicians
if I have to pick between the shittiest stick, it's like, you gonna fuck me less? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Come here.
So, during that time, then, I don't know if you've seen the documentary Flint Town. It was on Netflix a few years ago.
With the water.
This is during, so this also has to do with the police at that time.
Yeah, the police, and they're buying the Bobcat.
Right. But during that time, when they had one of the debates or the primaries were there, so the police who were doing the security, they're like, man, I voted for Hillary. And he's like, you know what, I'm not even going to lie. It's like, I don't agree with her, but I don't agree with Trump. So it's like, I'm just picking the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it comes down to almost in the end. It's like, either you are straight up for this candidate and everything they believe in, or you believe in one or two of their things. Or you're just going to vote for the one who is not going to fuck you over the most. You want the one who's going to fuck you over the least.
And it all depends on your personal experience.
Absolutely.
If you're a teacher, you're going to vote towards what's going to benefit the education department. If you're a part of infrastructure and you run the fucking pavement company, you're going to vote for the people that are going to help you leverage your business. Okay, I work a public service, so I'm going to vote conservative because they care more about public services.
Yes.
It's like,
But that's what politics is. This is how it is.
And then people are like, you're voting for abortion. It's like, no, that has nothing to do with it. Because you want to know why? I'm a male and I'm not carrying a child. That's why. Sorry, not sorry. I'm sorry that didn't come into my thought.
I don't want to. We're not having the abortion discussion on the show.
But it's not that I decided nor or against it.
Right.
It's like, I'm sure that even the more education I get, the more impartial I'm going to be. Where I'm going to be like, I don't know.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what if this is part of your religion that you have to have this baby? It's like, okay, well, like at our workplace, if you have a beard and there's no beard rule and you're Sikh, you're allowed to have your beard. So it's like, well, what the fuck? And I'm not saying that's the same thing, but I'm like, okay, well, if there's certain, is that line being crossed or is it not? Right?
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. But maybe I knock Emily up and she wants to go take an abortion and she's not allowed. And then it's like, now I'm tripping the fuck out and I'm like, fuck Pierre, fuck Pierre, fuck Pierre. You know what I mean? Or maybe I fucking got through at the cut because the conservatives hit the line. And now I'm like, go Pierre, go Pierre. Yeah. It's like, it's all different, man. Like, maybe I was a millionaire trying to take a tax cut.
Well, that's the other thing.
Who's going to give me the best deal?
Who's going to give you the best deal?
Right?
Yeah,
so I think
politics.
that's what people forget, right? And then it's like, I want you to believe what I'm believing. And if you don't believe what I'm believing, and it's like, okay, well, you have the right to cut me off and be like, we can no longer have any sort of like coexistence.
There's a guy at work the other day, and we overheard him saying, he's like, now we just got to sway these people in order to change their vote. And I was like, you, at this day and age, at this time, at this moment where the election is like a month away or a couple weeks away, you think that you can persuade people on changing their vote?
The damage is already done.
From liberal to conservative, or from conservative to NDP, or whatever the case might be. And I was like, this guy is way out there.
Let me give you an analogy. This is like someone starting the job and then talking shit about someone and not realizing that person that's worked there for a while also have friends. And he's going to betray you, the person that you just talked shit about, to tell him because you're a nobody.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what? Why did he do that? It's like, well, why did you think you were so important?
Yeah, that's my one thing, is why these specific individuals think that they're so important, saying that they're like, I can get these people to change their vote. If the politicians can get me to change my vote, why are you going to change my vote?
Okay, so what... Let me ask you this question then, because I think this comes down to it as well, where you say, why do you think you're so important? It's like, well, at what point do you make your presence known? So, like, I'll give you one example, and then I'll give you a level up.
Okay.
So, some chick you're in emergency, with or without a partner or someone else you're with.
I'm waiting in the hospital.
Whatever,
All
injured or not, or as like a broken leg.
Okay.
And there's a chick there that's also waiting, that's talking like egregiously loud. On their phone.
Okay.
And someone's like next to you being like, oh my God. And kind of like wants you to like
take their side and be like, you're right.
You're right.
This person so loud. You need to check yourself.
So then
lady.
The next one is a parent is scolding their child, and it's like egregiously bad, where like they're almost to the point of abuse. It's like, well, when do you step in?
Where are we? We're still in the hospital?
No. I'm saying, like, say you're in Walmart.
Okay.
In this scenario.
Okay, in this scenario.
It's like, so
I gotta paint the pictures. Okay, so.
And then say if it's just a normal fight. Or someone getting jumped. It's like, at what point do you step in and go, like, I need to make myself part of this situation?
When it gets to be... Okay. In the first situation where the woman is being quite loud. And
it's like, for me...
I'm not getting involved in that one.
As loud as you want, baby.
Yeah.
As loud as you motherfucking want.
Well, it depends. Hold on a minute. No. Wait.
If she's screaming in my ears or, like, nudging me or, like, being, like, if she's a part of my personal space.
Yeah.
And it's like...
I thought you said the woman who's yelling is at the counter and the person sitting beside me.
No. Like, someone's sitting on a chair, say, like, on the other side or some other proximity.
Okay, see,
and they're, like, talking on their phone and they're like... yeah, I'm just at the hospital. What are you doing?
Okay.
And you're
Yes.
Like, you're like, yo.
Yeah, I could turn around
shut
at one
the
point
fuck.
and be like, depending on how high it gets, like,
I just
excuse
give
me,
the
you
dagger eyes.
You can just turn it down.
No, I just do this.
Well, you got to make it known. You don't just do the side eye. You got to be like,
No, you make eye contact as soon as the eyes meet. Then you're like, you saw me.
yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Like,
But the Walmart situation, I think, is very different. If someone's about to get abused,
this is my thing. I'm not the best with kids.
I'm not here to tell you how to parent either, but
And I'm not a parent. So, I don't know if my criticism right. I don't know if you ever dealt with this, and I'm hoping another bystander that has more parenting experience is going to step in. In terms of a fight, if it's endangering me, no bueno. If it's like an old person getting like beat up by like 3 people, it's like maybe I'll try like the scare tactic, but I'm not going to get like stabbed.
true, I understand that.
You know what I mean? Like, say they pull out like a weapon or something. It's like
If it's an old person, a senior we're talking about, man, like I'm gonna stand in there, 100%.
Or let me even take it down back to like, let's touch grass a bit. When are you, say there's like a Charlie Kirk debate. Are you going to be the one that signs up out of 20 people to ask him a question?
No.
No, because like, why? But then you're like, well, where are the revolutionaries?
Well, unless I really care about what he's got to, like, you know what I mean? It depends. It depends
Right?
on the person. But I'm not here to tell anybody. Okay, in these situations, all 3 of them, in this the debate and asking them a question, that's entirely up to you. If you feel that you want to ask this person a question, ask this person a question. If they might be your idol for all I know. They might be your ultimate role model. So sure, ask them. In a situation at the hospital, if this is the case, and you're being obnoxiously loud, I will tell you to shut the fuck up.
See,
it maybe not in those words, but in the nicest way possible. Like, you're not the only. If it's just me and you in this room, hey, take it on the other side of it. Take it on the other side.
But I look at it in this sense. Say it's one of those things where, say they're talking to someone, and the person on the other end is loud, and you're like, oh, sorry. It's like, well, now you're forgiving. Well, they're still overly loud. So it's like, why do you... And then say if it's a chick that's more visually appealing, you're like, no. I have a little bit more temp. Or maybe or on the other end, I'm more annoyed. But it's like, this is my question. And this is where I defend this, like, from no ender. Okay, until security or someone that has authority, you are in a public space, you shut the fuck up and wait like everybody else. You know what I told someone at work today, and I had to apologize because I was so rude? All I told them is, what you need to do is worry about your job and your own growth. When people talk, you need to shut the fuck up. And then I was like, I'm sorry. That was too much.
When people are talking, you need to listen. So you need to shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, that was a bit much.
I was like, I'm not meaning that to insult you. I'm assuming you can take it. But it's one of those things where, again, the only reason I'm telling this guy was because I was like, 4 years ago, man, I was the dude that they were like, this guy's not going to go bald from hair loss. He's going to go bald from ripping his own hair out. Right? Like, the dude's going to go crazy. And, like, eventually the behavior is going to, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Tip over, right? So now on the outside looking in, you're like, oh, it all makes sense. Right?
I get what you mean, yeah. But I think with that being said, it's I'm going to be that person. I might not say anything in every situation, but I know I've been one to say something. I remember one time, it was years and years ago, I was still living in Ottawa. We were at like a pub or whatever and watching hockey. And one of my biggest pet peeves is, and I don't know why it is because I swear a lot too, but I'm very mindful about swearing in front of children. Mm-hmm. And this table of like 3 adults, and then there's a kid there, and the kid is probably like under 10.
Mm-hmm.
Now again, not my child. Can't really parent them. Can't really parent this kid. Can't really say shit. But it was constant. Like every second word was a fuck. Every third word was
and
a
you're
shit.
like, do you mind just
and I was
being
like,
a
yeah,
little bit
like more
fucking...
appropriate. Like they're like. There's kids around, man. And I'm not just saying there was only the one kid at that table. There's kids everywhere.
And then they just say, it's my kid.
And they're just like,
business.
don't tell me how to fuck. And I'm like, but you're not, like, this might be how you do things at home, but there's other kids around.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So I'm
so
just
why
asking
don't you just keep your shit to yourself? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's what I was like, can you guys just try not to? They did. But then one guy was like, fuck this guy, man. And I'm like, so at that point, he didn't stop. Then he kind of like escalated, and it was very obvious that he was fucking swearing. And I was like, is this necessary? Like, how old are you? And then it became a battle between the two of us. And then it's like, well, do we have to settle this? Or can we just be adults and you can just try? But then, of course, you know.
But do you see that as like, okay.
It's not my job to do.
No, but okay, looking at that, where's your line of pettiness and like conceding? Because for me, it's like any move of the needle, I'm good. No thanks.
Yeah.
It's like unless I'm starting it,
yes.
I got no problems with nobody.
I said my piece, and that was pretty much it. Now, the other parents who were around, or the other adults who were around who had kids there, were kind of like, thank you. Kind of thing.
Don't worry, I will be talking shit about you in my head and to the people closest around me.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to turn it in.
No. And that's basically what it came down to. So when the guy then became like, okay, it's an issue between him and I'm like, listen, like, you know, I said what I had to say, and that's it. I'm not looking to escalate this any further than it needs to be. Again, I'm just letting you know, you're not the only one here with a child where it's okay for you to behave how you want to behave. Tits. But like, there's other people around. So hey, it's like if you're gonna be a dick and just, you know, it's not necessary sometimes. But people just can't see that.
But some people, like, it's like a pride thing. Like,
Absolutely.
I can't let them do this to me.
Yeah.
And like sometimes, even I catch myself doing it. Where like, okay. Let's get a little personal here. Emily will say, oh, you're drinking like a beer every night, blah, 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 blah. And I'll be like, it's not a big deal. But subconsciously, I'll mention to her that I'm going to have a beer. Why? If I know that she's pissed off that I'm drinking beer 3 nights in a row, why the fuck would I say, hey, I'm going to have only one beer tonight? It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
So you're like, why are humans doing this? Why is it like this, right? Like, why do I have to be the person? Like, in my head, sometimes I go, why do I got to be the guy that always has to have the last word?
Yeah, I can understand that. And that was a big thing. Not for me to always have the last word, but it's something that in some situations, it was in conversation with some people, it was like, I had to have that last word. And that's one thing that it took me a while. It didn't take me a while, but it's like, okay. Somebody pointed it out to me. They're like, you always have to get the last word in. I'm like, no, I don't. And then it was like, I realized after, I'm like, I do. But then you just step back. It's like, what do I care? Do you find
it hard on like a daily basis to be like introspective?
No.
Like, I find I have a lot of like internal dialogue.
Absolutely.
Where like a lot of time, like if you look at these pages, it's like just fucking notes.
Yeah.
Like because I tell people my brain is firing like an LMG in a fucking Warzone match right now.
Fair.
Like, so for me, I always kind of have to have that perspective of like, how am I talking to people today? Am I being like overly annoying? Am I being unruly annoying? Am I going to like seeing certain people and then I go like say I visit Mark and I go like, I think I'm overdoing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when I hear them whispering before I come in, I'm like, all right, I think I'm pushing the line. You know what I mean? But even then, sometimes it's like, well, I got something to fucking say. So too bad. I don't care what the fuck. This is business, not personal.
Yep.
Like, there's some times where I'm coming in shooting the shit and going, this is more selfish. And then there's other things where it's like, I'm coming to you not out of selfish reasons, out of like mutual benefit for everybody, and being like, hey, I'm not doing this for like my own self-expression.
Right.
I'm putting this forward as a like a news article or like a soundbite for the episode or whatever it is.
Right.
It's like, I'm not doing this to be like, look what I found. Bloop, 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 bloop. It's like, I'm like, yo, look at this. Is this something we want to talk about? No? All right. No, we're good. Or like, hey, we landed this. We did this.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I have to have a lot of thought and go like, was that said the right way? Did I do that the right way?
Yeah, seriously.
Did I, like, you know what I mean? Was I giving people the right, like, hey, thank you. You know what I mean? Like, telling the people that do a good job, like...
I try to tell people at the end of the shift that they did a good job every day. Because it's not something you hear anymore. Not something you hear in our work anyways. But at the same time, it's like, I know I can come off like an asshole to people. Sure, I can come off obnoxious. But at the same time, now I just don't say anything. And then, but my thing was, for me, it was always... People used to attack. So
because they want you to
and I would
flip the
fucking
fuck
fire back.
Right.
Fucking fire back. People are like, you're an asshole. So I'm an asshole when you're a dick to me. And I'm defending myself, or I fire back. I clap back at you for that. I'm an asshole. But when I don't say anything, it's like, you're an asshole for not, like, why don't you say anything? It's like, I don't want to, I'm not engaging in this conversation. Why do I have to? And then it's like, well, you're being mean because you're not engaging. You're grumpy because you're not engaging. It's like, no, I don't say this, but it's like, I don't fucking like you.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say shit. Yeah. It's better for me to just keep my mouth shut than say anything, and then we're going to have a fucking huge issue. So I don't fucking say anything. But then I'm still a dick for keeping my mouth shut and not saying a word. So there's no win.
But this is, and I totally agree with you, because that was the same thing, especially around like the COVID narrative and everything, right?
Yep.
When that was all discussed, I remember having it out with some of like the most closest people that I know, where you just were on, there was different levels, right? Mm-hmm. And it was all about personal experience. Some people had kids, some people didn't. Some people were trying to grow a family. Some people weren't. So everybody's intentions were different.
Yep.
So with that, it was like I really had to start to learn after that, because I used to leave, man, almost like welling in like frustration tears.
Yeah.
Where you're like, dude, I cannot fucking win. Because then people will come, they fucking jab you.
Poke,
like, what do you do? Blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, that's it. And then they're like, why are you freaking out?
Why are you freaking out, man?
And you're like, all right, I'm gonna actually have a nuclear fucking... But then people started to understand where it's like, you cannot handle the wrath. So it's like, be careful what you wish for. Right.
Yeah.
Do not ask for the fucking devil.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if you keep, and you tell people, it's like, you keep going here.
You keep fucking with me.
I'm going to snap at you. You're not going to like what's going to happen.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, I had to yell at a dude 2 days ago, and he was like, man, you yelled at me. And I was like, listen, man, sometimes you have to turn the jets on. And you were lost in the sauce. Mm-hmm. You weren't listening to me. And I had to go, hey, where the fuck are you taking this guy? Yep. And he had to go, oh. And it was like, that was my 5th time asking. Mm-hmm. Get your head out of your ass and figure it out, right? But afterwards, I told him, it's nothing about you, man. It was the fact is of like, well, if you didn't properly communicate, something bad could happen. I need you to properly communicate so everybody's safe. That's all. It's not about you. It's not about the way you do your job. It's not that you're bad at your job. It's not that you're good at your job. At that moment, you fucked it.
Mm-hmm.
At that moment, within those 15 seconds, you fucked it up. That's okay. Everybody fucks it up. Everybody.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes acknowledged. Sometimes it doesn't. None of your business. It all like and that's what you have like people have to understand is like as they go.
There's only so much that people can handle before they're gonna reach their limit, and not everybody really realizes that because everyone always wants to poke, push, and see how big is this limit? Where's the line for this person?
But what I was doing was giving thresholds to people. So immediately when I knew that someone that was coming in to probe me, immediately I would allow them and I would get ready to be like, all right, fuck around, motherfucker.
Yeah, fair.
Let's go.
Yep.
So it's like, because I wanted to have some sort of confrontation, because it was like built in.
Yeah.
It was like, am I now allowing this guy to like ramp me up? Could I want to be like, because right now, the way I like address things were like, oh, don't act like a lot of things like based on like my prior ventures where it's like, oh, don't ask for McDougal for financial advice. You just go like, listen, it's totally okay you feel that way, but like, I don't subscribe. That's all it is, man.
Yeah.
Like, I love you as a friend. It is what it is. But like, I already know that I'm doing the best I can in that area.
Yeah.
You think what you wish, but like, I'm gonna continue to do the best I can.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
And I tell them too, the reason I'm not upset, because it has nothing to fucking do with you. Like, and if it had something to do with you, I'd probably be discussing it with you.
Well, that's the other thing too, right?
Right? Like, if you knew me well enough to ask how I was doing, like if you knew me well enough to ask how I was doing, you would know how to get a hold of me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you wouldn't need to ask anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's no point in like the idea of like gossiping and stuff. But I catch myself every fucking day being like, man, I'm being a little bitch. You know what I mean? Like, I'm being a little fucking...
See, but why is it that you're being a bitch and you're not being yourself? You know what I mean? That's not you being a bitch. It's people can't handle you being you.
No, but sometimes I go like, I'm giving this person like unjust criticism, or like I'm falling into the narrative.
So but that's fair. If you understand it, then that's just you being a certain way. But
and then
fine.
Usually I fall back and I go like, you know what? My bad. I shouldn't have said that. You know what I mean?
See,
so I always backtrack and I go like, you know what? That was wrong. I apologize.
I haven't done that where I've actually apologized to somebody for something like that in a very long time because I don't care anymore.
What I've been getting used to a lot right now is telling people, you know what? You're right. Because you know what? What people have to understand is everybody knows so little. So it's like, say I'm talking to someone and we're arguing about agriculture or whatever the fuck it is, and we're getting back and forth. You go, you know what? I'm in over my head. You're right.
Yeah, and I get what you mean by that. It's like you don't want to...
And I just say, based on the person I'm talking to, this is going nowhere. Like, this is going to spiral out of control regardless.
Okay.
Right? So I just go, based on the energy... And it might not be that I'm actually conceding and it's you're right.
Right.
It's like, you're right, because I'm just trying to like...
yeah.
Because, and then that way they just go, and you're like, hey, it's okay. You're allowed to feel, you are a human being, you're allowed to feel whatever the way.
Yes, exactly.
But as long as I can look myself in the mirror every day and be like, you know what? I don't think morally I did anything wrong, right? Yeah. Like some of the people that we pay for like podcast like editing or search engine stuff, it's like I get in discrepancies with them. And I like go to bed at night and I go, if I don't feel comfortable where I am or what position I'm in, I'm going to pay them. because it's like I can't fall back and be like, yo, then something happens, or like you know what I mean? It's like you can feel it.
Yeah.
You know when you're not doing something right. You know what I mean? So that's like a big thing that I had to like sit with, where like you would think one way and you'd be like, no, that ain't it. Okay, that's you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And maybe it's not going to benefit. Like we were just talking about when we were talking about whatever, where I was like, oh, you got to do it because my other coworkers and whatever it is.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And I was like, although my girlfriend wasn't too pleased, it was like, sorry. Like, unfortunately, in this situation, I worry about career longevity, and I worry about making sure that my coworkers know that I'm on their side. I know this is something you're going to get over, and it's something that ultimately is going to benefit you. So, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. It has nothing to do with you.
Right.
It's your choice of whether or not you want to be upset.
True.
I'm going to be fine.
You can only manage your emotions.
And like and what I said to her is like, don't get it twisted. This apartment's going to be pristine. Laundry's going to be done. Dishes going to be done. Like, shit's going to be done. I understand the assignment. Don't worry about it.
Being an adult?
Right. But the idea of like, I understand what the expectation is of what you think I'm going to do.
Well, of course, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's but again, it's your choice on whether or not you want to be like, yo, I'm pissed off that she's pissed off.
Well, of course, you have to be in control of your emotions regardless of what's going on around you. You can only control how you react to situations of people who might push your buttons or poke or jab, or just because someone's upset, it's like, are you going to react to that? Is that necessary for you to react to that? Before, a certain situation, if somebody was mad and would come at me, it'd be like, okay, let's do this. Let's attack. Let's fight. But then after a while, it's just like, you can spit your piece. I'll listen to you. We can have a discussion like adults. We might not like what each other has to say, but this is life. These are conversations. This is what happens. I'll fight you with my words. I don't necessarily have to fight you with my fists. I'm 40 years old now. It's not necessarily. I'm not a spring chicken, as they say, as much anymore. But it's there's nothing wrong with having an intelligent conversation, with using your feelings and everything like that, and just getting it out there, rather than always being hostile and having hostile conversations or confrontations all the time. It's not necessary. And this is part of that practice or that power, where it's like you get to be able to express yourself easily in an open environment. We can have that discussion. We might not agree with everything we're going to say, but we can go from there and move on in a civil manner. Doesn't always happen, but
and the thing is, like,
but I think everyone needs to figure that part out. Like, can they do that? Because if they can't, like, when you turn around and you're like, you know what, you're right. It's not that you're saying that you're conceding, but it's like, all right, I'm moving on from this topic. We're done.
And because you just go like, yo, you got way more firepower than I do, and you also have an understanding too of like, what are the third person optics of the situation? What are my coworkers seeing? What are the other people around me seeing? Like, is this the way that I want to like represent what I'm doing? Right? So when I'm talking in open areas, I used to not care at all.
Yep.
And now I look back and go, and not to say that like I do the best job at it, but I reflect and I go, oh, I wonder if he heard me. Like, would he take exception to what I just said? Or did I say that in the most appropriate, like, business-oriented way, right? But it's... I take on the method now as, like, whenever I see conflict, I just go, I know they ain't talking to me.
Yeah.
And that gives me the expression of, like, I understand what I'm willing to give to other people, and I'm willing to treat people with respect, hear them out, whatever it is.
Right.
Right? Again, learning in process. But it's like, for that, I'm not gonna bend someone being like, hey, here. You're like, I know you're not talking to me, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna give in, right? But I don't want to end this conversation abruptly.
But we want to end
We
this
have
conversation
so
abruptly.
much to talk about.
I know.
Okay. But how do you feel about that? Good? Paul, the idea of it was we were talking about politics. And that was about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So the idea we were talking about politics and the idea that like people have certain political positions, and then we got the idea of how removed you have to get from people's opinion and how they feel about you.
You listen to all that, or you can fast forward through it. I don't know. Take
it was a lot.
It was a lot. Sorry about that.
Basketball, NBA.
Here we go.
Do you want me to go through it?
Yeah, I know some of the scores right now.
Okay, in the East, we have
Yep.
Indiana and the Bucks.
Yep.
Indiana leading 3-1.
Yep.
Miami,
crazy.
Cleveland. Miami just swept. Cleveland just swept them.
Swept. But yes.
Swept.
Mm-hmm.
Golden State versus the Rockets, which I love. Clippers versus the Nuggets.
What's that Golden State one at?
It was at 2-2 as of yesterday.
Okay.
Timberwolves versus the Lakers. Timberwolves up 3-1. I think
That's
tonight.
crazy. That's crazy.
Magic versus Celtics. Celtics, I think, just won. And Knicks in Detroit. I'm hoping the Knicks
Celtics
win.
beat the Magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
They 4-1.
Again, I haven't really been following the basketball, but what? It's my phone. But this people are calling for the Celtics to repeat, and I don't know. You would know more than I would. I don't, but I'm just saying this is what I've heard. And on top of that, after about this monstrous, trade with the Lakers and everything like that, and they're down
3-1.
3-1.
Last
They could
game
be
tonight.
out. It's tonight's the
But you have literally Michael Jordan's son playing for the Timberwolves. And not only that, you have like some big talents like, again, I hate to say it, but like Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, because I know he was poor in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
But they have like a good team around them. But yeah, man, like I think that speaks to how long it takes to get chemistry, man.
Really. I mean, that's a valid point, and that's not even something that I would have looked at. Like, I wasn't even thinking that at all, but when you say it, it's absolutely true. Like, chemistry is a very important factor when it comes to...
Because, look, they have killers, man.
They got,
they have...
Individually, on paper, their team
Lakers,
is stacked.
So... How many So they have at least 2 All-Stars. 2,
for sure.
LeBron and Luka.
Yeah.
But it's like, outside of that, you have Reeves, Hachimura, who's playing lights out.
Yeah.
Who else? They
have a lot of talent.
Dorian Finney-Smith.
They got a lot of talent there. A lot of depth.
You have a lot. I don't even know if he's on the... I think he is. But you have like a lot of talent, and you're like, there's no way they can lose.
But there is a way.
Exactly.
There is a way.
Because they just have a better structure. They know who to switch on. They like, and not only that, you have the chemistry of the Timberwolves, and like they've just had a little bit more time.
Yeah.
And like, imagine taking a guy that probably deals with the ball all the time, then dealing with a guy on Dallas that deals with the ball all the time. It happened with Russell Westbrook and James Harden, where it was like, how do you put these guys on the same team, let alone on the same lineup? Doesn't make sense.
Well, it needs to be done, though. It's not the same like hockey where you're rolling lines.
I'm putting 2 CPUs in the same computer. It doesn't fucking make sense.
Makes your computer faster and stronger.
Without RAM. Yeah, so that's the case where it's like, again, people just need to, it's not to say that it doesn't work or it won't work, because I don't know, But it's the idea that, like, maybe it takes more time than people think. Like, even if you're that good, it's like,
you still you have names. You can have all the names you want, and if they can't put it together,
playing through, it's like, well, not only did the team have time to stay together, they're playing seasons.
Yeah.
So they're going against all the teams. They get the tactics. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's not like Luka didn't come in with enough time in the season, but then again, like, I'm not saying they're not playing well together, but there's something that's missing. And it might not be those two. It's probably other factors,
and
other
it could
players.
just be you're getting outplayed.
Or it could be that too.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's the
it
other
could
thing.
simply be like, hey, you like, whatever strategy you have it's a game of chess. It's like, yo, man, you zigged when you should have zagged.
That's
tough
exactly
titty,
it.
man.
That's it.
You could have been, and tomorrow you could be 10 times better.
Who knows?
Look at some of these games where it's like the biggest blowout in NBA history, and it's like, look back at the regular season and they're 5 points apart.
Yeah.
And you're like, and now you're 70? Like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't make sense, but it's like, just going down to it, where it's like, dude, a person is a person. Mm-hmm. Maybe that dude had his fight with his woman. Maybe he's fucking having this. Yeah. Maybe he didn't eat well. Maybe he had a burger he didn't like. Maybe he didn't have his pregame shit.
Maybe.
Who the fuck knows, right?
Absolutely. You're right.
So it's just, but I think that hurts people's brain. So they just go, yeah, it's reffing.
And I think it's the easiest thing, and it's the easiest cop-out to make when, things aren't going your way, is just the calls.
It's refereeing, it's this person's a dud, it's this and that. But it's like,
reffing, it'll also come down to reffing because you always want to support your team, especially in the playoffs, so it's always going to be reffing. Except for,
I'm skeptical. I'm only skeptical because there's, like, documented history of, like, scams within professional sports, right? So you're like,
well, in the last decade,
and like, sure, we know the 1+1 method. It's like, well, if you caught this guy, how many people are doing it that aren't caught?
Absolutely, 100%.
Right?
And you're not calling, you're not saying anything.
Exactly, right? So it's like, I'm not saying that it's a total scam and there's not authentic refs, but I'm saying, I imagine the resources it took to figure out that this guy was cheating. It's like, imagine the dudes that are way smarter than this dude. It's like, it's deeper than you think, right?
It's literally, so I'm just going to bring up real quick and easy Deflategate. They talked about back in the day. This is the year that they were saying the balls were more deflated in that Super Bowl, and it was easier for Tom Brady to throw the ball and easier to catch.
Was this when the lights went out?
No, that wasn't that year. I can't remember what Super Bowl that was. But the thing is, that following year, they had Drew Brees was on Jimmy Kimmel. He's on one of the late night talk shows, and they gave him footballs, and they were like, "Is this one under deflated?" And he would spin it, and he's playing with it. He's like, "No, this one's about 16 pounds. This is legit. This is right. Like this is correct. This is exactly whatever it's supposed to be." And then they gave him like 4 footballs, and they were like, "Yeah, this one's under deflated, probably about like 3 pounds." And they're like, "That's correct. This one's under deflated." So for you to sit there as a quarterback or as a player to touch this ball every single time, every play, you should know. Now, I'm not saying it's a big fucking deal. It's done, whatever. I don't fucking give a shit, to be honest with you. But I just thought it was really funny at that time where it's like, Tom Brady be like, "No, those balls were not deflated. Everything was fine." And then Drew Brees can sit there and hold the ball for 2 seconds and be like, "This one's good. This one's not good. This one's good." So it's like, Tom knew. But are you going to say anything?
But it's like when they just put out LeBron taking a foul and then being like looking up.
Looking up, yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Like, dude, it's like flopping in soccer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, sure, but it's not my fucking job. But it ain't my fucking job.
But I mean,
so guess what? I don't give a fuck. If it ain't my job, I ain't doing it. Because guess what? I'm holding people accountable. New year, 2025. Accountability, motherfuckers. Everybody's going to hold accountable.
We're almost 5 months into the year, and now you're coming up with this?
Accountability. It ain't my problem. So
you're saying that he should be held accountable for faking a foul? Or you're saying that he should be held accountable for...
Or just getting up and being like, yeah, that wasn't a foul.
There you go. I agree. I was, like, playing soccer at the level that I played at, I was never the guy to take a dive. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
But this is what I heard on a show one time, and it really stuck with me. And they said, you say that now making what you make now.
Yep.
But if your decisions were worth millions of dollars, would you be...
It's my integrity is what it's worth.
But...
100%.
Would the same stakes be on the line with the same... What relationships have you leveraged, right? Like, so, for the most part, I feel like 99... Like, there's not... Unless they're going to kill... Unless I got to take the lesser two evils, and it's like, yo, I love this person, but I love this person 0.1% less.
Okay.
And I have no other choice.
Okay.
But for the most part, it's like I can be broke. I'll be all right. Like I've dealt with a lot worse.
Right.
I'll be good. Right. Okay. So with that, like I don't find that I'm like swayed that much. Where I'm like,
that's fair.
Like even when people reach out and we look and we're like, yeah, I look and I'm like, oh, that's a scam. And then you look and you go, look at the fucking numbers they're offering. Like, no wonder. But it's something too where it's like, what's safe, right? Like, because the thing that you also have to think about is like, is it kind of like in over your head, right? Like, even when you look at like scandals and shit like that,
right.
You have to say like, do I have the ability to, like, actually do this? You know what I mean? Like, whether it's, hey, we're going to hire you as the dude that goes around and fires people all the time. And we're going to give you $200,000 a year. But you say, like, I don't think I can fire people.
If you're going to pay me $200,000 a year, I can fire people.
Maybe.
But,
for a bit.
Maybe. But yeah, who knows? I'm not in it.
Until you have a couple crash outs and a dude goes, listen, I'm going home tonight, blow my fucking brains out.
And then, as you were saying, well, that's not my problem.
No, and then you would be like, that's not my problem. And then you see it on the news and you go, should I be doing this job? I don't know.
Yeah,
that kind of sits with me.
I get what you mean, sure. But like, when we bring it back to sports, I'm not taking a dive just to satisfy or just to get a call.
No.
That's not going to be me. And I've straight up told guys, I'm like, if you want to take a dive, I will give you a reason to take a dive.
Now, like what I would do is I do like the manipulation where I would like taunt the other guy to foul me.
Yeah, and that's fair.
And it was like, well, that's within the gray area.
Yes. It is. I see what you're saying and where you're going there, but at the same time, that's still part of the game. Getting in each other's head. Yeah. And I think that's more, for me, more acceptable in a situation in a game where rather than taking a dive to get a call, I'll get in your head in order for you to foul me
or make a mistake, or just like piss you off.
Absolutely. I once told the guy playing soccer, I'm like, go ahead, man, take the shot. And he took the shot, and he scored, and I was like, yeah, that's fair, man, nice shot, you know? And then he never made that shot again because I never gave him the room to take that kind of shot. But in the same time, it's like, this guy was trying to do all this fancy footwork, and I'm like, dude, I'm not into this right now. So go ahead, do your fucking thing, Mr. Fancy Boy. And he did. And he shut me out. Mm-hmm. And after that was the end of it. But I'm not here to, to let these sort of things like I'm gonna bait you, sure, but I'm not gonna roll over for you.
Right.
To say the least.
So when I was doing soccer, playing university soccer, like one of my coaches kind of told me of like, yo, you never leave your man without leaving a mark. So it's like every time that I'm like moving, a little shove.
Yep.
I'm bouncing off
let
of
them
them.
know you're there.
I'm hitting them. I'm
Yep.
doing the. It's like you always want to make sure that this guy knows
Exactly.
you're there.
Yep.
Right. So little shit like that, right? Where you
Absolutely.
just go like, don't fuck with me.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree.
Moving on.
Yep.
NHL.
NHL playoffs round. We got
2-2 across the board, and then 3-1
3-1
across the board. How crazy is that?
It's intense, especially because one of the Canadian teams could be out tonight. My lovely Ottawa Senators.
Did you watch that Florida game?
Yes, I did.
3 goals.
I missed. Okay, so we were talking about that yesterday.
Freaking.
I pretty much figured that game was over. It was 2-1 because they scored the goal. They got it called back. It got called back.
Right.
So it's supposed to be 2-2, and they called it back, so it's 2-1. 4 minutes to go in the game. I'm like, perfect. I'll just go chill with some guys and have dinner or whatever like that. And then I leave. I turn the game off and I go to the next room. I run to the boys, and we're sitting there talking. They're like, yo, man, did you see the end of that game? I'm like, yeah. Tampa Bay won 2-1. They're like, nah, Florida came back. I'm like, excuse me? Because when I left, there was like 4 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah.
Which just goes to show you, playoff sports, you never turn it off until it's over.
Honestly,
Ever.
I don't think I've been in such an emotional roller coaster with this Oilers.
Oh, dude, they were killing me, man.
I just cannot, man. I am on, like, nail biter every game, dude.
And last game, they pulled it off. Impressive.
Dude, it's making my eye twitch. I'm so stressed out.
Well, last year when we went to the final for Game 7. And you know what I mean? It was an emotional roller coaster that day, too. Everyone's jacked up. The only thing I can say at the end of that game, was people were not too upset or too uptight about that loss.
Because we made it.
But, exactly. And I going back, I will still bring that up.
It's like you made it to the peak.
They fired the coach. I will say the city is harsh on the team. They were not winning games. They counted them out. They're like, season's over. We're done. We're not even going to make it. I'm like, and some of the guys at work are saying this to me. I'm like, dude, we have only played like a month, if that.
Yeah.
It's like, what, 15, not maybe like 10, 15 games.
Yeah.
Tops. And I'm like, just give it some time. So they fire the coach. They get hired in Knobloch. And then they start winning games. And they go all the way to the playoffs. And they go all the way to the finals. And people are like, I can't believe you didn't win. And you know what? It does suck. They forced a game fucking 7.
It's like there's no much farther you could have went.
Yeah, there's nothing else they can do. They gave it everything they've got. Sure, unfortunately, they fell a little short at the end. But
what do you do?
You turn around and people were like, man, that sucks. People were like, some of the guys we were with were like super pissed. And I'm like, all I got to say is we had a fucking phenomenal season.
Yeah.
That is one of the best seasons of hockey I've ever seen when you follow one team. Mm-hmm. Basketball is not a sport I follow. But the most basketball I watched since 93 to when Jordan era and Kobe and all that stuff was the year the Raps won. That was the year I watched the most basketball since then. You know what I mean? And I wasn't even watching it because it was just we were watching the Raps. We were just watching Raps ball, and they were doing well, and they were winning games, and they went all the way to the playoffs.
Just for the culture.
They went all the way to the finals. And that was the one year that I was, hey, I'm just going to tune in and watch some basketball this year because of the guys that I was hanging out with or the guys that I was working with. So it was awesome. And I mean, last year with the Oilers, and here we are again. You know what I mean? And I'm really hoping that it might be more of the same with a better outcome this year.
Ekholm.
Yeah.
And, dude, I love it, man. It brings so much of and I remember talking about this on a really, really early episode. I think it was with Faber, and we were talking about, the idea of having, a sports team as opposed to not having a sports team.
Dude.
And how much that kind of, ties into, the cohesiveness of like a city
Yep.
and how much like it stimulates like everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
People are going, oh, more. I'm talking to people about the Oilers at the dog park, at the fucking coffee shop. You know what I mean?
It's
like
the talk of
it's
the town.
in. You know what I mean? Like it's just tangled in work, in personal, everything. You go buy a donut, it's fucking blue and orange. You know?
Yeah.
It's like that's crazy how a sports team takes over a city.
I think it's a pretty fucking cool thing, to be honest. You know, like even when I first moved here, one of the first things I said to our buddy was they had a baseball team here, and he was like, "Yeah, they got like a minor league team or a AAA or something like that." I'm like, "Perfect. That's all I need. It's gonna be a major league team, but as long as there's baseball in the city, I will survive." Legit, if there's a city that I live in, there's zero baseball, I will lose my fucking mind.
Right.
Not that I am, and baseball's my favorite sport of all time, but nothing beats going to the ballpark during the evening or the daytime, having a beer, having a glizzy, and watching somebody hit dingers. And there's no better feeling.
And that's interesting because I thought you would have reacted like way more to what I sent today. I was like, yo, I think Lubin's going to be like smitten.
About which part?
What I sent about the...
Oh, the dude. Yeah, absolutely. I was like, this is super cool. But at the same time, I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know anything.
So what I'm going to do...
So I'm being I'm downplaying it a lot, but I'm like, this is going to be pretty interesting to see what this dude wants to talk about.
I was excited, really cool. And the reason I was excited was like, I can't wait to hear what questions
but this is
you
the thing.
have for him.
So it's going to be, you know, when right now it's just like, hey, there's this opportunity. When the opportunity comes around, and it's like, we're going to do this, and then it's like, oh, it's go time.
Okay.
Now it's going to be like, yeah,
dude,
absolutely.
I saw that, and I was like,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I was going to, like, more off-camera kind of chit-chat, but yeah, absolutely.
So, and the way we got that is I've been trying to, like, navigate more, because we've been talking about engagement and stuff.
Yes.
But some of that engagement comes on, like, the production end. Where it's like, well, I also have to do my job to, like, shamelessly promote and network and, like, get in these chat rooms and get in these rooms with different people.
Right.
In order to, A, find guests.
Yeah.
And, like, there's some people that message where, like, a dude, one guy that we're going to have on, he is getting his, I don't know what it's called, like, but he's going to be a shaman. Like an ayahuasca shaman.
Okay.
We're going to have him on.
Okay, cool.
As a guest.
Okay.
So I'm waiting for him to get back, and then we're going to, like, propose it and everything.
Okay.
But, like, crazy.
That's actually really kind of cool.
Yeah.
Things are really starting to come together, if you will.
And that's what I was telling to people where I feel so comfortable, where it was like, things are starting to come... Like, we're starting to find that identity. Like, although I'm kind of doing my own thing with the solo spotlight, it entangles in a way of, like, not only gives us, like, talking points, but some of those guests actually cross over between both shows.
Yes,
right?
True. Yeah.
And what people kind of said was, like, what we have to start thinking about is, like, Spare Bedroom Studios is the media network, and the two things are shows.
Got it. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
Where it's like it's more of an umbrella.
Yes.
That features, and maybe there will be crossovers and whatever it is, but at the same time, like, again, for more off-camera discussion, but we're finding interesting people that are going to make impactful, you know, like, and outside of us talking, like, eventually we're going to run out of shit to talk about.
Nah, it's never going to happen, man.
No, I agree, because I think that we also have, like, the, like, diligence to, like, stay up with, like, media and stuff.
Yes.
But, like, I think being challenged and, like, also having people on that you don't necessarily agree with, not a huge opposition where you're like,
not for clout or anything like that.
or you're like, because what I say is my level of discretion is like, what's parody? Am I bringing you on to mock you?
Yes. Okay.
Or do I actually respect you?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the level. So, like, if I don't really, like, fuck with you at all, and, like, this is more like a taunting thing of, like, look how stupid this person is.
Right.
Then I'm like, you know what? But if this is, hey, I might not agree with you, but I can also respect what you're doing.
Right.
Maybe we can find a level playing field. Right?
Well, with that being said, I think that we should bring up the age-old question. This question that's been proposed to people for I think it was 5 years ago this question was first proposed. The 100 men.
Dude, this has been my
versus one gorilla. So, I was doing some research on it today. They were talking about it. Where this question was proposed, I guess, like 5 years ago on a Reddit forum. Where I don't know who got this idea to ask this question, but 100 men versus one gorilla, who are you going to take? Now, if you're going to ask me, I'm taking a gorilla because we've talked about this. A few of us have had this serious debate at work, and we've talked about it where it's like, yeah, let's say we're all in a circle around the gorilla. The first people to go in are going to get destroyed.
But it's like, I'll tell you why we'll lose. Because every human will overthink it. Whereas the gorilla, smash, 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 smash.
Well, of course.
Where the human's like, am I taking the leg? Am I taking the arm? What about him? Is he looking there? Oh, his fangs. Oh, what about this guy? Oh, is he talking to this guy? It's like, dude, and the gorilla's just going, smash, 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 rip.
Yeah.
And he's just going, hungry, shit, smash. Like, it doesn't matter.
I want no part of it.
Right.
I want zero part of this.
So
if there's 99 other people and they're like, we need you, I'm like, you don't need me.
You do not need me.
You don't need me. The 99 of you guys have had a great life, and I wish you guys all the best. But right now, you guys are on your own.
Now, if it was something you didn't have a choice in, and I pose this question, whereas it does playing dead. Do you think it works?
I don't
gorilla
know.
would just pick you up.
Is that a rule? Because I know with bears and stuff like that, you
is.
can say you play dead or you try to get bigger than the bear.
Yeah.
But I don't think that works with a monkey. It might. I haven't watched enough Planet of the Apes to figure it out. I gotta rewatch all these Planet of the Apes movies again to find out if that's a thing.
You just open up your butthole.
Fuck! I want no part of it, man. Zero.
Especially those videos where they're smashing the glass and stuff.
Well, their feet are just as strong as their fucking hands.
And you know what's crazy? And I don't want to get off the gorilla topic too much, but it was crazy that I saw this. Was have you ever heard of mantis shrimp?
No.
So mantis shrimp have these they're like fists, but they're not really. They're more like a mace. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so they're the fastest punching species in the world. Their shot.
You put this on. Yeah, you gave us a video of this before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mantis shrimp.
Yeah.
So their punch is equivalent to the shot of a .22 bullet.
Because it's got one big claw and one small claw, doesn't it? And it powers it up or something like that, doesn't it? Yes. That was the one you were talking about.
Okay. But the thing is, a lot of people that own mantis shrimp, if they have glass aquariums,
yes,
it smashes
it. Smashes it, exactly. Yeah.
Because their punch is so hard.
Yes.
That's
crazy to me.
That's next level.
And it's it's very small as well.
Yeah.
It's
But the dude put a metal straw in to see if it would dent the straw. And he was he showed little dents, but it wasn't anything crazy. But again, when you're trying to break glass, it's well, you can use those little puncher things.
Yes, exactly.
Same shit. So
but,
it's it's not too far off.
So, but with that, back to the gorilla business, it's everyone now is saying that once this debate has come to an end, now they're going to talk about 100 men versus a bear. I don't. Well, you see, here's the thing. I think the bear one's a little different.
I don't
Davy
understand.
Crockett killed a bear with his bare hands. So,
But
I think it's doable.
100 men. But okay, so what? So is it because the gorilla is like more dense, or is it like how he's walking?
You know what?
Like, what would be the variation?
I'm gonna say it's muscle tone.
Because he's black. Because he's black.
No, not at all. There's white baboons and white gorillas as well.
Albino monkeys.
Albino monkeys.
Yeah.
But I think just because, well, with monkeys and gorillas, they're using arms and legs and they're climbing more than a bear does.
Yes.
And they're using digits like hands,
so they can grapple.
so they can grab things, and
so they can just crush you.
A bear is going to be using its paw, and they have
swiping.
claws. They can climb trees, but they're climbing with paws. Whereas if a monkey, it's fully the dexterity that they have is much different.
Facts.
A lot stronger. And let's be serious, gorillas. If we had to put one beside one another, I think gorilla is in way more shape than a bear would be.
Okay. Next question: a gorilla or a bear?
For what?
A fight
between the two of them?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say gorilla.
I would too, but I would also say because I would say there is a risk because the bear claws are probably so sharp.
Yeah.
That if the gorilla misses, and the bear gets at like the.
Yeah.
It's like the gorilla's done.
But have you seen King Kong? Have you seen these movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he fights Godzilla. Or he fights the other animals that are on Skull Island. What animal
do you think where's your threshold of animal that do you think you could take on? I'm like raccoon, maybe. Maybe a raccoon.
Okay, do I have a weapon of sorts?
No.
Okay.
Like you.
Well, if Davy Crockett can kill a bear, I think I can do this. I don't fucking know, man. But
I'm like maybe not even a flying squirrel I'm taking on.
I'm not saying I want to take on a bear.
No, like what do I think I could sexually...
A fox. A
dog. Like this.
A rabid dog.
Yes.
A rabid dog.
But sometimes, dude, I saw Ralph literally manhandle my nephew.
How old's your nephew?
Probably like 3.
Well,
4
that's
years.
not
like
that's,
grabbed
that's
him,
a
dude.
Child.
Like, dude, like actually domestic violence. My nephew.
The child was 3 to 4 years old.
And his nose was like right at his head level, so he just jammed his nose right in their ear.
If Ralph wanted to get silly, I could fuck up Ralph's shit. I could fuck up his day right now.
You could.
I could. That's what I'm saying. A dog, not so much. Not so much of a big deal. Like some of them might be a big deal. Like, I shouldn't say some.
I don't want
some
things
dogs
that
are a big deal for sure.
I don't want things like raccoon. Like I could do the raccoon, but if it got close and cut at me,
well, things are gonna cut you. Even if you fought a dog, it's gonna cut you.
Because it bite me.
If you fought a bear, it's gonna fillet you.
Oof.
You fight a gorilla, he's gonna rip your arm off. Oof. Then you got no arm. What do you do? He'll beat you to death with that arm. You know, you don't want that. Oof. I don't want that.
Maybe I'm down to like a shrimp. You know, like I could take on a shrimp.
Maybe.
Flick it off.
Yeah, I think you could do that. I think, I believe in you. I think you got that.
So what are we saying? The gorilla? Gorilla wins.
The gorilla wins. Whether it's against 100 humans or one bear, the gorilla wins.
Let's see here. I actually had that written down. Last one, and then we'll do some closing because we're hitting it here.
Okay.
Bella from Last of Us.
I haven't watched any of the new season yet.
Okay,
so
but
no.
you know who she looks like?
Yeah.
They signed a petition to have her play an live action of Buzz Lightyear.
What? Why? What? I didn't hear this. Well, that's what, Caitlin Denver?
Yeah, well, but look at her.
She's the one who was in...
she's the one that plays What's-Her-Face.
But...
They want her to be Buzz Lightyear.
Okay.
Here, let me pull it up.
No. I know exactly who you're talking about right now.
I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send you the. If I have my phone, I send you the meme right now.
I just find we should ask our friend how he feels about handing up the mantle to somebody else first and foremost.
Mr. Bruce.
Because I don't think that he's ready to give up playing Mr.
Bruce Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear in reality for the rest of his life.
You know, one time I told him that he looked like a toe. Like his stature. I was like, you're like a toe. Oh my god, man. I was like, your
He's
body.
Like a big toe.
Yeah, I was like, your body is like the foot, and your like head, upper torso is like the big. Like your head might be the nail.
He's the piggy that went to market.
100%. Facts. What else we got here?
I got one thing. Amazon has just launched their first satellite for the...
With Katy Perry?
No. The Kosher belt? So they have Starlink, kind of like how Elon Musk has. Yeah. Amazon has launched their own. It's called the Coder... Coder system? Coder Link?
Coder...
I think I'm probably mispronouncing it, but it's fucking stupid phone. So basically, it's their own version. They're supposed to be launching 3,200 satellites, pretty much, and the first 30 just went up. I think yesterday or today.
So what's that? Better internet, better cells?
Yeah, so better internet for rural communities.
Because apparently they pulled Starlink. I didn't know that. I was watching one of those debates, and it said that they pulled Starlink, and I was like, we had a friend from work that was using Starlink. I was like, well, that fucking sucks.
Yes, we do have one. That's right.
We also have a few things to talk about. Do you want to talk about our plug for cleaning?
Yeah, you want me to plug it again?
Yeah. Because I'll tell you later.
Okay. Shout out to KL Cleaning, an awesome Edmonton-based cleaning service that'll have your place spotless in no time. Whether it's a one-time deep clean or regular service, they've got you. Follow them on Instagram at KL Cleaning Yeg, and check it out on their website and learn more, or book online at klcleaning.ca.
And we also have a new affiliate. We have chosen to affiliate with rss.com. This is the site that we use as a platform to upload all of our audio. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict, everything you can think of audio-wise. We have signed up an affiliate link. If you are ever thinking about starting your own podcast, what do you have to talk about? Maybe you build knives. Maybe you like trampolines.
Blacksmiths.
Maybe you're black and your name is Smith and you want to start a podcast. Click our link. Sign up your podcast today to help us out. Link is in the description below. With that, we have concluded. This has been a full year. And, yeah.
It's been great. And, I'm just looking for what another year is going to bring forward for the both of us and for what's going to happen. And Mark as well and the rest of the crew. So,
100%. This is a huge round of applause to everybody. Everybody that's been a guest, everybody that's helped with the production, editing, software, mentoring, you name it.
We thank you.
We thank you so much. It has been a great year, and we've learned so much. I hope not to speak for my co-hosts and other people around here, but I think that it comes with great gratitude to the audience for sticking around and showing us that we're doing the right thing.
Thank you.
And with that, we implore you to go visit our Instagram, Facebook, like the video, subscribe, follow, see what we're doing, follow our Spotify, check out what we got going on, Insider Channel. We got a ton of things coming up. As you know, we've decided today, episode 50, we're earmarking for some sort of live broadcast.
Something different, something fun, something
cool. So episode 50, get ready, earmark it, RSVP, putting your 2 weeks notice, whatever that is, and we are out of here.
And last thing, go Sens go Oilers go.
Go Oilers, go Sens.
Let's
keep it going.
All right, everybody, it's been fun. Have a good one.